Indigenes, inhabitants, and Council of Chiefs in Okeigbo Kingdom have called on the Ondo State government to wait for the outcome of court case before embarking on the selection and appointment of new Oloke of Okeigbo in the interest of peace and orderliness in the town. This is just as Kingmakers in the town on Monday declared that nobody has been selected as the new Oloke-elect, describing rumors of appointing somebody as the new monarch as unacceptable to them. There has been rumors of purported selection of Prince Akintoye Adeoye from Are Kugbayibe ruling house as the new Oloke without the involvement of 11 out of 40 kingmakers as required by the state laws. However, addressing newsmen in Akure, the kingmakers under the umbrella of Oloke's Council of Chiefs insisted that it is the turn of Kole or Lodge ruling house to produce the new Oba for the town, noting that Are Kugbayibe ruling house cannot produce king in succession. The kingmakers spoke through the chairman of Council of Chiefs, High Chief Deji Akitokumbo, who doubles as the Orunto of Okeigbo, and High Chief Dele Oduwale, who is the Ojumu of Okeigbo Kingdom.
Fellow indigenes and inhabitants of Okeigbo Kingdom, it is necessary to address you and the general public on the current happenings in our kingdom. It came to our notice there was a selection of a new monarch on the 27th of June 2025. We understand that some of you may not be aware of the traditional process involved in the selection of a new monarch in Okeigbo Kingdom. Firstly, it is a known law in Ondo State that once a ruling house has produced a king, the new king will come from the next ruling house. Are Kugbayibe ruling house cannot produce a king in succession. Therefore, it should be the turn of Kole Lodge ruling house to produce the Oluoke of Okeigbo Kingdom. More so, the selection process is guided by our customs and tradition, which dictate that the kingmakers, who are 14 in number, to include the regent, the 6 high chief, and 8 others, will identify suitable candidates through an election process based on their lineage, wisdom, and leadership qualities. It is in the absence of any of these kingmakers that warrant chiefs are engaged. Presently, we are perturbed in the way the Ondo State government has handled this without any communication whatsoever to the palace. It is a state that has forgotten. Is it that the state has forgotten that some people are in the palace holding forth? More so, the state government is aware of an appeal pending at the appellate court, Akure decision, which has even issued a stay of execution order restraining the state government from producing or from proceeding in any selection process pending the final verdict of the court. There is equally an injunction from the State High Court in Ileoluji, a restraining order preventing the state government from proceeding with the selection process of a new Oluoke. I urge all of you to be calm and patient as we navigate this process.
According to him, he said it had come to their notice that there was a selection of a new monarch on 27th of June 2025. He said he understands that some of you have not been aware of the traditional process involved in selection of new monarch. High Chief Akintokumbo said 11 out of 40 kingmakers are alive, and it's strange to allegedly select somebody without their involvement.
We are very, very peaceful people. And of course, all of us will say at this side, we are reasonably knowledgeable and highly educated people, and committed to the unity of Okeigbo. That's why we are taking the stand we are taking. We don't want any upheaval. We do not want a repeat of what happened in 1983. I don't know how many of you can remember that. But it was a political upheaval that set the town back to the 18th century. So that's why we are taking the legal, the lawful way of settling matters. In any case, we are all the same people, working towards the same goal. However, having said that, we believe that they shouldn't have even done it at all. 2 issues. There is an injunction in place. There was an order from appeal court that no status quo should be maintained. This they have deliberately ignored. But some of us are even assuming that the government might not be in the know of these things. But we don't want to meet force with them. That's why we want to take a peaceful way of settling matters. So that's why. Answering yourself the first question, there are at least between 10 and 11 living kingmakers. I think 10, 11 living peacemakers. Kingmakers. And this is the first time in Yoruba land where the living kingmakers are ignored totally, and they pick some other people. If I want to help, or if I want to open up the kangaroo home, I have a video or audio in my pockets here where only 2 people selected these kingmakers we are talking about. Just 2. Whereas ordinarily they should come from each ruling house or ruling quarter. We have 5 of them, and if you have 5 ruling quarters or house, you have 3 from each, will be 15 people, which had already exceeded, but of course they played the trick. They gave 4 houses, 3 each, and 2 to the ruling house. Most importantly, and that's what has been stressed in this, that you cannot produce another Oba if you are the reigning one that left. That is, you cannot succeed yourself. But that has been totally ignored, or they frame ignorance. And that's why we are here, to let the world know the other side of the coin. You understand me? Those that are being called kingmakers now, there's no way you can have warrant chief if the living one is around. And the living ones are mostly high chiefs. Out of these people they selected, there's not a single high chief among them. And I would want to appeal to the press. We are not ready to fight anybody, particularly the government. But let's call a spade a spade. The laws were written by Ondo State, Abi, not Okeigbo. Okeigbo has its own custom, which we have tried to follow. But the government seems to be ignoring that. What they made by themselves. They made the rule, not us. And we are saying, obey the rules you have made. That's all we are talking about. Nothing more than that.
The High Chief appealed for calm among the residents and advised the Seoul government to allow the rule of law prevail by allowing court to decide the issue accordingly, as imposition of a legal person as monarch would not be acceptable to the town. From Akure, the Ondo State capital, Temitope Adedeji reporting for KAFTAN TV News.